Welcome back again to Object-Oriented Programming. For this demonstration, we will be implementing a multi-level inheritance. Okay, the machine problem that we will be using is the modified version of my previous blog. So we will compute the tuition fee given that we have the rate per unit and the number of units. Okay, so to start working on how to write the code, okay, since the program is allowing our user to input and display the output of the program, so we will be using this library. Include input-output stream. And of course, for the CNC out standard, we will be using this. Let's start creating our base class. Okay, class, using the keyword class, then the name of our class here is base. So you can, this is a user-defined name. You can name your class whatever you want. Okay, it's followed by the semicolon. Then we will be declaring our rate per unit here. So our data member is a rate. Okay, so we use a data type, okay, double for this particular variable rate. Sorry. Then we will be creating a function for this. Double, then our rate per unit. Rate per unit. Then semicolon. Okay, so since we will be using this rate, okay, in this class only, so we will use a private access modifier. We will be using this one because this particular data member will only be used in this class. The name of the class is base. However, in our function, so we will be this will be accessed by the derived class that we will be doing. So we need to have a public access modifier for this particular function can be accessed by another class. Okay, so after creating our class, so last demonstration, I made the rate per unit here. But for this demonstration, I will be creating the function outside the class. So to create a function outside the class, since you are using double here, so we have to type double, then our name of the class, which is the base, and our rate per unit, that is our function. Okay, so no, base then rate per unit, sorry, and closing. Okay, so this particular function will hold a particular value. Okay, since we have already declared our data member, so our rate is equal to 1,000 pesos. So then we have to make a return value for this because we will be using this rate for the computation of our tuition fee. So since we're done having our base class and we have our function outside the class, we will now create another class. So this class is a derived class. So class derived 1. Let's name it derived 1. So this class will access this base class. So we have to access that base, then that, okay, semicolon. So what's inside this derived class is only the data member, number of units. So again, let's use again the data type double. the number of units. Then let's create our function for this total units. Okay, that's our function. Then let's apply an access modifier for this particular data member. So since this particular data member can only be accessed in this class, then let's use private access modifier. Okay, for this one, the total units, since we will be using this to another class, so we are uh, implementing a public access modifier. Okay, since we have already created our class and we have declared our data members and our function, now let's create the method or the function of this total units. Okay, so the function for that total units is, since we double, then since this one is belong to this class derived one, so let's call out our class derived one. Derive one. Oh, derive one. So derive one, then our function is total units. Total units. Okay, so what's the behavior of this function? It's allow our user to enter the number of units. Sorry. Okay, in, then units. No, that's number of units. This is the data member that we declare in our class derive. Okay, so since we're already done with our function, now let's create another class. This is the third class, and this class is another derived class, derived 2, but this class sorry will access the derived 1. Okay, so that's the name of the class. So we will access that public derived 1. Okay, so what do we need here for our data member? We only need here the total because we're going to compute the total tuition fee. So total, sorry, and our function, tuition fee. Okay, so let's implement a private access modifier. And for this one, we use the public access modifier. Okay, after that, since we have already created our class, now let's create our function for this function definition that we created in that class. Okay, so the function double derive 2, then our function is tuition fee. Tuition fee, sorry, that's not, this is derived 2, tuition fee. Okay, so the behavior of this function is to compute the total tuition fee. So we use total is equal to our rate. Okay, so we will be calling this one, not this one. Okay, so we'll be calling this one. So rate per unit multiplied by our total number of units. Okay, total number. But before we do that, we have to make a return value here. Return number of units. Because we will be using this value. Okay, the result of this one will be held by this function. So we have to call out the value for that. Okay, then see out total tuition fee. Okay, let's make it tab here. Total tuition fee. Okay, then call out the total. Okay, now let's apply, of course, the total. Don't forget fix this one is for us to have a 2 decimal places for the result of our total. Okay, since we're using this one again, let's use again the library include, sorry, input output manipulation for the set precision that we use. Okay, so for our main method, since this is this class, okay, let's review our class. So we created 3 classes here. We have our base class. So we have our derived class that will access the base class. And this is our derived class number 2, which access the derived class number 1. And this is a multi-level implementation. Okay, since this is our class that access the derived one, so we will only be the last class will be used to create an object here in our main method. So our last class is derive. That's the name of our class, derive 2. Then we create an object here. Okay, that's this object name. This is our object name. This is a user modifier, user define. Okay, then you can create the name of the class with everyone. So we will be using that one, okay, here. But since our rate per, okay, our function for the rate per unit, where is it? Our rate per unit hold the value 1000. We have, of course, to make is see out here to display that, okay? Rate per unit. Okay, let's have a tab here. Then let's call out that rate per unit. So as you can see, we have here our object name. So you have the right to access that rate per unit, obj dot. And of course, you have to call out the class. And that class is our base class followed by the function, which is the rate per unit. Okay. Okay, that's it. Then we will be calling our obj j dot. We will be calling this one tuition. Okay, tuition fee. Okay, why? Since this is a multi-level. Okay, for this particular part, it's already been up. The rate per unit is here already because it's already accessed by this particular class. This is our derived class that access. Okay, we access. Let's review our code. Okay, that's 150. Let's make it 100. Okay, that's it. Okay, then let's review our class again. Okay, so this is our base class. So we declare our data member here, rate, and this is our function. Then after doing that, we create our function. So our function, okay, for that class, hold only the value 1000. Okay, that's the reason why we make is C out here to display that particular value. Okay, y obj, this is the object name. Okay, and this is the class where the rate per unit is belong. Okay, this is the function. Okay, that will display the value 1000. Okay, then for our next class, okay, this class, okay, will access for this class. Why? Because okay, we will why we access this base class, because in our last class we will be using this number of units. Okay, we'll access that there. Then a total tuition fee, our data member, number of units, and the function total units. So what's the behavior of this function? So we create a method, a function here. So you allow your user to enter the number of units, and you return a value, because we have to pass this value to this, okay, to this one. Okay, and also the rate per unit. That's the reason why we have a return value here, because the value here will be passed here, then pass it to this particular, okay, function. So so we have already our, for class number 3, that we create, the class number 3 that we created is this one. So this particular class compute the total tuition fee. So we have the total and the tuition fee function. So this class will access this particular class, derived one. Okay, then we create a function for that. So this is our class function. Okay, just our class, this is our function in this class that we create, okay, that we created here. So after that, you have to create an object. Why only the derived 2? Because our derived 1 access already the base class, and our derived 2 access already the derived 1. So therefore we only create an object for the derived 2. Because as you can see, we access already, and this one. Okay, so let's run first, but before we did that, we have to apply some system pose here. Sorry. Okay, so let's run our code. Oh, there's an error. I think I forgot something. Return value for our tuition fee. I forgot. So first, our return value for our tuition fee. Okay, return. Have to add return total here. Okay, so that our value will be displayed. Okay, let's okay, our rate here, we have to apply some formatting here. Okay, and line here. Okay, so we have already called out our rate per unit and allow our user to enter the number of units, 10. Oh, on the list. So pass y. I don't know if I have already applied this greater. This is greater, sorry. Greater 0, not less than 0. Okay, so 10. And that's it. This is our output. So I hope that you learned this demonstration. Okay, this is so simple so that you know how to write a code. What's important in writing the code is you have to understand what is the first thing to do. Okay, so thank you for watching for this demonstration.